Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Simply thinking about it makes my heart race. Wow, right? That one line immediately establishes the visceral, heart-pounding reaction at the core of our source material today. We aren't just talking about some passive, fleeting feeling here. We're looking at an incredibly active, undeniable physical response. When you think about the most memorable narratives of attraction, they almost always start with this exact kind of internal spark, a simple thought that triggers a full-blown biological reaction. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to break down the translated lyrics of a record-breaking global hit, the absolute phenomenon known as Despacito. Yes, we are doing a deep dive into a massive club anthem. But we aren't just looking at this as a catchy pop song. Honestly, we're analyzing these lyrics as an absolute masterclass in the pacing of romance, anticipation, and seduction. By mapping out the specific words and structural choices the artists use, we can decode exactly how a perfectly engineered slow burn actually functions in the real world. So if you've ever wondered how anticipation is built through text, well, you are definitely in the right place. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the art of the build-up, recognizing the initial spark. You see, what's really fascinating about this source text is that it completely refuses to rush into action. Instead, it focuses heavily on a prolonged period of observation before any physical move is made whatsoever. It's rooted entirely in its anchor word, despacito, which literally translates to slowly. Now, this isn't just a tempo for the music, it's an explicit set of instructions. The singers directly state in the text, "We cannot do this in a rush." By making that conscious choice to resist rushing, they're deliberately prolonging the buildup of tension to dramatically enhance the ultimate experience. It's a masterclass in restraint. The romance is completely rooted in patience. And you know what? This restraint isn't random at all. It's incredibly systematic. The text outlines a beautifully structured, step-by-step approach that shows us the methodical, almost calculated nature of how the singers advocate starting a connection. First up, looking at you for a long time. That requires intense focus. Second, seeing the look in your eyes calling. That requires mutual acknowledgement, reading the room and making sure the energy is actually matched. And only then do we get to step 3, getting closer and making a plan. It's entirely strategic. The slow burn requires a really solid foundation of deliberate intent before any lines are ever crossed. Which brings us to Section 2, Metaphors of Magnetic Attraction. Poetry disguised as rhythm. As the energy ramps up, the source text takes a super fascinating turn. It pivots completely away from literal actions and dives headfirst into some incredibly rich imagery. I mean, these aren't just simple pop lyrics. They treat attraction as an inevitable force of physics, with a magnet and metal. They describe the person's beauty and complexity as a labyrinth, where they want to sign the walls, implying this deep desire to leave a permanent mark in a confusing, beautiful maze. They even talk about creating a manuscript on the body, which elevates physical intimacy to the level of high art or literature. And finally, framing the other person as a beautiful puzzle, where the singer is the missing final piece. It's just brilliant lyrical framing that makes the attraction feel almost mythical. You're the magnet, and I'm the metal. We can see exactly how the artists describe a force of attraction that is just completely out of their control. Magnets and metal don't sit down and choose to attract one another, right? It's an unchangeable law of physics. The singer is essentially stripping away their own autonomy to emphasize just how incredibly powerful the pull of the other person actually is. It's a remarkably effective way to communicate intense desire. And that tension leads us right into Section 3, Slow, then Savage. The lyrical duality of tension. This is where the thematic escalation of the text really takes off. That deliberate, careful pacing we just analyzed begins to warp, and it brilliantly illustrates the contrasting energies at play. Just think about the duality here. On one side, we have the foundation we've been discussing, softly, delicately, slowly. But on the flip side, the text suddenly introduces words like savagely, malice, and screaming. The singer even notes that the subject possesses malice with delicacy. It's the constant push and pull between these two extremes, the polite restraint and the raw, rhythmic energy, that gives the text its incredible narrative engine. You simply can't have the explosive release without the quiet constraint first. Let's actually accelerate our own pace a bit to match the text and trace the timeline of physical escalation mapped out in the song. Notice how it moves both geographically and in its sheer intensity. It starts off incredibly intimate but safe, breathing in the neck slowly. Then it moves to murmuring in the ear, specifically so the person remembers it later. Again, planting a lasting seed. From there, it escalates to undressing and kisses, moving into trespassing danger zones, all the way to a massive climatic point of making you scream and literally forgetting your last name. The lyrics provide a very clear literal roadmap of escalation, proving that a slow burn always eventually catches fire. And this specific quote is the absolute hinge point of the entire narrative. Let's start slowly, then savagely. That right there is the exact moment the slow burn finally ignites into a wildfire. It perfectly encapsulates everything we've talked about so far. A deep respect for the buildup combined with the absolute promise of a complete, uninhibited release of energy. Now we enter section 4, the ultimate destination, reaching the crescendo. So we've followed the careful buildup, we've felt the magnetic pull, and we've tracked the escalating timeline, all of which finally leads us here. The lyrics cleverly blend the passion of the artists with their actual physical environment, pinpointing the climax on a beach in Puerto Rico. But notice the incredible personification used. The experience is described as being so profound and so intense that even the ocean waves participate in the climax, screaming, "Oh Lord." It roots the entire experience in a very specific cultural and physical geography, making the environment an active, willing participant in their romance. But before we finish up, I really want you to note these physical symptoms that get repeated throughout the text. The singer states, "Your heart goes bam bam," and that they're actively searching for that bam bam. They explicitly state they want to experience this trip and leave a seal that stays with the person. Now, what does that mean? It proves that this entire lyrical journey was never, ever just about a fleeting moment of gratification. It's about creating a profound physiological memory. The slow burn was purposefully engineered to make sure the impact is permanent. This recurring motif, step by step, soft then softly, we come up against each other, little by little, it grounds us right back in the universal human experience. It is the rhythmic heartbeat of the entire text. It reminds us why pacing and attraction can be so deeply thrilling in the first place. It's the little by little that allows anticipation to peak, eventually turning a simple encounter into a highly charged, unforgettable event. I'm going to leave you with this thought to consider. In a world absolutely obsessed with instant gratification, where literally everything is just a quick swipe or a click away, is the slow burn actually the most powerful way to build a real connection? Based on the massive record-breaking success of this text philosophy and how deeply it resonated with people across the globe, maybe we should all consider taking things just a little bit more slowly. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep looking closely at the words around you.